Normal people become terrified of criminals.
Shots were just fired. Police just came out and told us, and we're headed there right now.
They become terrified of their own government.
This is a viral video. It's going around. Hammer attack on a painting in the National Gallery in London. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we got to watch it. And there is so much to be said about this video. Here we go. We got two people smashing the glass in a painting.
Did not get the vote by voting. It is time for deeds and not words. It is time to just stop oil.
Politics is failing us. Politics failed women in 1914. If millions will die due to new oil and gas licensing, millions! If we love history, if we love art, and if we love our families, we must just stop oil.
Here's where it gets sad.
Cute, but she's
they go
that
and sit
cute,
down.
right?
Now wait for the most depressing moment, and it's right there.
Oh, he loves her.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
You know, he just joined the movement because he's really attracted
I was
to
gonna
her.
say,
Yeah.
freaking theater
Oh,
kids in
no.
the wild.
No, she grabs his hand though.
Aw.
Now, I'm sorry. Life is what I tweeted. I said, life must be really hard when you're an effing idiot. He says, so there's glass on this painting, and they're not using just hammers. It looks like they're using these emergency hammers that I think have special material for breaking glass.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and they're trying to damage the painting, but I don't think they're able to because these are very, very well-protected paintings. But you see, I'm sorry, my friends. He says millions of people will die because of these gas leases. We must just stop oil. It is very basic and simple, common sense
The irony.
that if you stop producing oil, dozens
Of people will die.
Millions.
Dozens of tens of millions.
Maybe billions.
60 million people
A third
will
world
die
country.
in 3 days.
Wow.
In the United States, in Europe, because oil is used to produce food, to create electricity. Instantly, we talk about this all the time, the diabetics die overnight without refrigeration. Without the production of oil, he would not be wearing a hat. He would not be wearing glasses. He likely wouldn't be wearing those jeans. The
soles of his shoes. Yeah.
The
He
estimates
also
are
wouldn't be getting laid.
the estimate. Well, no, I mean maybe
talking about rubbers,
if they
you
got it, that chick would be all about it. But they're both so insane cultists being used for political purposes. They don't even bother Google searching this. It's like, hey guy, what fuel is used to drive the tractor? Is it produced from oil?
Or the bus that brought you here.
Yo, they tried doing electric farm equipment, and it's just like people are like, are you nuts? It doesn't work. Electric trucks, they're already having problems with it. Because maybe we get to the point when we have ubiquitous graphene polymer batteries, and we can recharge an electric vehicle in 30 seconds like you can refill a gas tank. Maybe. And it's possible. But right now, we use oil for everything. Humans, a large portion of this planet exists simply because oil exists.
Yeah.
You can actually track the oil age and the population boom. All of a sudden, we started discovering oil and uses for it, and then the population skyrockets.
And
then
of course,
then you get the 50s and the petrochemical boom, and we're kind of like
the unabashed burning of oil is not good. If we never stopped just burning it all and putting things into it and burning them into the atmosphere, we'd probably all choke and die. But we're not doing that. We're reusing the carbon. So we don't need to stop using it. We need to reuse the carbon, dude.
Alex Epstein wrote an awesome book about this. I don't know if you guys have ever had him on the show. He would be an awesome guest. He wrote a book called Fossil Future, and it was basically making the case that just what you said, more people would die if we actually did these green energy deals and if we did this, because the third world countries are the ones that rely on fossil fuels the most, even though they're not the greatest culprit of pollution, but they rely on it the most because it's the cheapest form of energy. So if you're going to, when we do things internationally, like force third world countries to obey our sort of green standards in exchange for funding and money and stuff, it actually could lead to a catastrophic amount of death for people that rely on things like gas for heat.
I don't know if you could say it's the cheapest. It's the highest energy return. So, a cow is a form of energy. You can use a cow to pull,
Tom.
farming equipment to harvest a field or something like that. But, that's not as efficient as oil. So it's that you get way more energy out of oil. Now, look, there's an issue. If you look at global population, it's very steady. And then right at the turn of the century, 1900s, it skyrockets and just goes exponential. And that's due to oil. We were all of a sudden able to mass produce food much, much more quickly. Everyone became very fat and happy, and people have lots and lots of babies. And so this results in a massive population boom around the world. But now, because the oil went up, people go up. If the oil goes down, the people go down. And so that means if you just stop oil, you're going to kill
Depop.
dozens of millions.
I mean,
tens of millions.
We can all admit this was incredibly lazy. They came up with this fun slogan, "Just stop oil." They put it on a bunch of T-shirts. They got their little tool to make the glass. I mean, I miss that guy who super glued himself to a Starbucks counter.
Yeah.
Like these
He's
people
still there.
are like, they brought a friend to film them. Hopefully he is. That was way more
How do they
interesting.
pick
Just
the
drinking
painting? That's my
lattes
question.
and-
They're like, all right, we got to have a
They're
strategic
like, the
choice.
lighting is really good here.
Yeah.
You stand over there and we'll sit here and it'll be great. I mean, I just feel like this had it's not even that passionate of offense. So it's no wonder that they have no idea what they're arguing for, because all they're doing is trying to get clout on social media. What are we looking at? JustStopOil.com. I mean, what are they even arguing?
Who sees that and
is
changes their
backing-
mind? Like,
No,
we just
no
watched
one.
it.
Or
I
if
feel the same
someone
way.
sees them and it's like, wow, I love these young
This is
activists
the opposite.
doing something.
I wouldn't
Where
be
do they
surprised
go?
if it turns out that Just Stop Oil was funded by a bunch of oil companies indirectly. I'm not kidding.
That's brilliant.
Well, but
Reverse
but
psychology.
It's not. I wouldn't even call it brilliant. I call it basic. Like if you get a guy,
awesome.
if you get a guy in a Trump shirt and he walks around screaming, he's all super drunk and he's screaming, Trump, and then he walks up to a guy who's waving a little flag saying, help us. Joe Biden wants to help us save puppies. And then the Trump guy hits the Biden guy and it's on video. Who does that benefit? Doesn't benefit Trump.
Right.
People are going to be like, oh, wow, those Trump supporters are crazy. This, by any metric to any social media marketing person, they filmed this. Social media marketing 101, if you are the aggressor, you are viewed negatively and benefit the inverse. False flags.
Mm-hmm.
So what they're doing is benefiting oil companies. They look unreasonable. They look unhinged. They've been, what you have those people blocking the roads? That's not going to convince, that makes people angry. So all these, I seriously believe oil companies are like, let's indirectly fund these anti-oil NGOs to make people despise the oil protesters.
That makes sense to me. I mean, when I see
Controlled
stuff like this,
opposition.
I think about these pieces of art that if someone really destroyed them, we would lose them forever, right? It's a similar argument we make with like the Confederate monuments, right? Those were a form of art that once destroyed can never come back. And so maybe you feel really passionate about this issue, but this is a very lame protest to me that could potentially destroy something
They
that
don't care.
has nothing to do with anything else. Of course they don't care. They don't care about anything. But if you're a viewer, it doesn't make me want to support their cause.
We got to refocus it onto reusing the waste, the fuel waste. You got fuel. You have three types of fuel. There's hydrogen, carbon, and plutonium. Those are the only things that can function as fuel. The difference between what fuel is means it can be put into a container and moved around, carried around. Everything else like wind turbines, solar panels, they're not types of fuel. They're just types of energy generation. But you need to reuse the fuel waste. So the carbon dioxide, or for plutonium, they've got spent nuclear fuel is what they called. And I'm actually interviewing a guy tomorrow on my YouTube channel at 2:00 p.m. Eastern who funds companies that are investing in reusing plutonium, spent nuclear fuel, turning them into things like, I don't know if he's going deep into the diamond batteries, nuclear waste diamond batteries, where you put it inside of carbon and it can produce like 10,000 years of electrical charge.
Your phone never needs a charge. It'll
amazing,
just
dude.
always be on. Crazy,
So
right?
as long as we focus on reusing the waste of fuel, we're going to be okay. We can keep using the fuel.
Ian, can I ask you a question that's off topic? If you had to propose to a girl and buy her an engagement ring, would you make graphene the center stone? Would the whole thing be out of graphene?
Graphene is
I've been thinking about this
is
for a
a
while.
single atomic sheet.
Okay. But how would you incorporate graphene? Because I feel like that's the only material I could see you using. It's such an important part of your advocacy.
I'd get a platinum, gold, silver, probably a platinum, gold, palladium ring, like 3 metal bands with a diamond.
So no graphene at all? I obviously don't
I don't
understand
know
what
enough
graphene
if
is.
graphene's safe to have in skin contact for long
okay,
periods
fair
of
enough.
time.
That was just carbon, dude.
I talked to a chemist before I did that,
Well,
but
then
that's
make
kind of a
those
cool idea.
graphene shirts or something.
I have one on right now. This is graphene spandex. My pants are actually graphene as well. It's cool. They stay cool in the
second
heat
foot of the episode.
and get hot.
I do want to disclose, I did invest in a graphene manufacturer. I fully intend to monetize off of Ian's constant shilling
Was
for
it
graphene.
Universal Matter?
Well, sure.
No. But in all seriousness, when Ian started ranting about graphene, I did buy stock in a graphene company a long time ago, and it's like one of my only stocks that's improved.
I would recommend checking
That's
out
so funny.
universalmatter.com. It's James Tour, one of James Tour's companies where they're flashing the graphene with electricity. They're flashing carbon with electricity and producing graphene with it. And they're mass producing it. So this flash joule heating is the future.
Can graphene be used to make annoying oil protesters stop smashing things and throwing paint on people?
Not even graphene is that powerful.
Unfortunate.
Maybe you could improve the roads. You could actually make a graphene cover to that painting that they couldn't crack through.
Yeah.
thing is,
Every time they hit it, they got electrocuted.
They would just find some other way of being annoyed about something else. Like, this is the personality type. They came with a prepared monologue and someone to film them.
Yeah.
Like,
He
I don't
loved the
even
practice
think they,
sessions, though. That's the saddest thing for that guy about this event was that he doesn't get to rehearse anymore.
Well, the saddest thing about it is that he rehearsed the
theater
speech,
kids.
but he
play's
didn't
over.
Google one time anything that he was saying.
It could help
No,
them
because he
because
doesn't care about it.
when
Right.
you turn carbon into graphene,
He's trying to get laid.
It like holds it so it doesn't get out into the atmosphere. Like turning carbon into graphene, you don't lose. It's so solid of a material that you don't lose it.
This
into carbon
woman
dioxide or
probably
methane.
went to a meeting. He met her at a bar, and she's like, "Well, I'm going to a Just Stop Oil protest."
He's like, so am I. It's
Yeah,
like,
me too. I'll be there, and that's it. That's probably the only reason he's there.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, this was one of the stories that I liked from last year, which is a lot of the Get Out the Vote efforts were young women who were on, they would set their dating app profiles to whatever city they were trying to get people to register to vote in for their, progressive cause. And they would just like talk to guys and be like, wow, you're so cute. Are you voting? Maybe like it'd be cool if you registered to vote. And here's a little bit about this candidate that I'm supporting.
It's kind of weird. Wasn't it typically the men who would try and court the females by doing a weird dance, but now the women are doing the weird dance to court the males?
On behalf of a politician.
Right.
It's super creepy. I hate it.
Do you think there was some of that going on with the Israel-related protests that we saw a couple days ago in D.C.?
I mean, this goes on with all protests.
Because it seemed like a lot of
everywhere.
college kids and a lot of dudes. I'm like, what is that dude doing there? I'm like, oh, he's probably there for some girl.
Right. It's
class.
like, you ever watch It's Always Sunny?
Yeah, sometimes.
The abortion episode where he's like pretending that he's pro-choice or whatever because he's just trying to get laid, and then he's thinking like they must be easy or whatever. And then what happens? He tells the woman, the pro-life woman, he's pretending he's pro-life, and then when she gets pregnant, he's like, "Oh, you gotta get an abortion." Like, it's never pro-life at all.
I haven't seen that one. That's hysterical.
Yeah, it's one of their super old ones from like 20 years ago.
Yeah, classic.
But this is the thing. I feel like men should just be more like, no, I don't like that. And the girls would eventually, it might not happen as fast, but
Yeah, but look,
they would change their minds and
no,
listen to you.
they're targeting weak, pathetic men like this.
Yeah, like incels.
I mean, yeah, this guy, like, look, I'll try and be as nice as possible. If you're willing to get a hammer and smash the glass on a painting and then scream in a room of people without one time Googling what you are saying, you are not a high-functioning individual.
True.
He must not be having an easy time of meeting ladies.
Right.
And so when this woman says, why don't you come with me and do this thing? He says, okay. Now, I'm not saying it's absolutely what happened here. I'm just saying this is a common thing. You notice that politically men tend to skew right, women skew left. Men are a little bit down the middle. And in biology, earmuffs for your kids. In biology, it's called the sneaky fucker. That is the actual biologist term for individuals who just try and, they sneak in to get laid. There are the strong males who succeed in courting the women, and then there are the sneaky fuckers.
Like Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah,
that
that's
was a great
messed up.
scene.
That was a
That's
dark
messed
moment.
up.
I had a
saw
hard
that
time
when I was
watching
like
it.
16. That was crazy.
That movie was messed up. He rapes the woman,
Yeah.
and then she's like, wow, but I liked it.
Yeah.
What?
Revenge of the Nerds.
You got to watch that movie if you've
Yep.
never seen it. It's,
Yeah.
it's like a
Kind of
like
a bad
campus.
message on accident.
Was
I
that
think.
supposed to be that he was the good guy? or
Yeah,
something?
like if you do a good job, she won't think it's rape. that was the theme of that.
So she
That's a
thinks
crazy movie.
he's in a costume. She thinks it's her boyfriend,
Yeah.
and then they do it, and she's like, "Wow, that was great." And he's like, "Ha,
he takes off the mask. All nerds think about is sex.
yeah." Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.